Welcome back to GetBy. Today we dive into Budapest. I'll share with you my experience and useful tips for a weekend in the Hungarian capital. Budapest is known for its architecture, thermal baths, and a beautiful Danube promenade. Also, Hungarian cuisine is amazing. So, besides being a feast for the eyes, it's also a feast for the taste buds. With so many things to see, do, and try, prepping is the key. So we ended up with a 3-day plan full of activities. Watch closely, some tips might be the reason for your perfect weekend in Budapest. If you're only staying for a few days, there are 3 things you absolutely have to visit. Are you taking notes? These 3 are Buda Castle, Fisherman's Bastion, and, of course, the Parliament. By the way, do you know why Budapest is called Budapest? In the past, this area was actually 3 cities, Buda, Óbuda, and Pest, and in 1873 they were unified. Today, the part west of the river is called Buda, and the part east of the river is known as Pest. We decided to spend our first day in Buda. Our first stop was the famous Buda Castle, and on the way there we crossed the iconic Szechenyi chain bridge. I apologize for my pronunciation. I try my best, but Hungarian is a difficult language. Anyway, there are 3 ways to climb up to the castle. You can walk there, get an escalator, or you can get a ride in the historic Buda Castle funicular. Once we got to Buda Castle, we started exploring. The grounds, which include the gardens and main courtyard, are free, but if you want to enter the castle, you'll need to get a ticket. There's a huge gallery inside the castle featuring artworks from famous painters such as Cézanne, Pissarro, and Monet. So if you're into art, I bet you'll love the exhibition. Our next stop was Instagram's favorite, the Fisherman's Bastion. It's only a short walk from the castle, and it's a really nice walk too. If you decide to do the same, make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes because the path is covered in cobblestones. Also, there is a minibus, but it goes in the opposite direction, from Fisherman's Bastion to Buda Castle. Fisherman's Bastion, as you can see, looks like a real-life Disney castle. The site is really worth exploring. There's so much to see wherever you look. So take your time and enjoy the view. Just a few steps from the Fisherman's Bastion, you'll notice the most famous church in Budapest, Matthias Church. It's got really interesting details and stained glass windows. But if you want to explore the interior, you'll need to buy a ticket. The church is located basically on the Holy Trinity Square, where, if you're lucky, you'll spot a very interesting man with a trained hawk. We spent the rest of the afternoon roaming around the city, and we concluded our first day by going to recharge our batteries for tomorrow. But before we continue with day 2, you might wonder how to conveniently get to this beautiful city. Well, arriving from Croatia, we decided to take a bus from Zagreb to Budapest. The ride was only about 4 hours, which was perfect because we were well rested and had the whole day to explore the wonders of the city. But getting to Budapest is no problem, as it is well connected to many European cities by both buses and trains, especially major ones. If you're flying into Budapest airport, then a shuttle bus from the airport to the city will ensure a hassle-free arrival. It's worth mentioning that you can easily find bus timetables and departures to Budapest, as well as for the shuttle bus online. This way, you can plan your route in advance. As I mentioned before, we had a lot of attractions we wanted to see, and they're all scattered around the city. Luckily, public transport in Budapest is great. It's very reliable, easy to use, and inexpensive. There's buses, trams, and a metro, which is, by the way, one of the oldest in Europe. However, I suggest you walk as much as you can, because no matter how well you do your research on Budapest beforehand, there are so many things you'll discover by accident and fall in love with. Seriously, everywhere you look, you'll see a piece of history or art or both. In case you're not that into walking, or you simply want a faster way of transportation but don't want to use public transportation that much, renting a bike is a great option. And they have really nice bike paths along the river. I think it's unnecessary to describe how beautiful the view is while you're cycling. On our second day in Budapest, our first stop was the most famous one in Budapest. Of course, I'm talking about the Parliament. But on our way there, we had another attraction we wanted to visit. On the Danube bank, there are bronze shoes. A lot of them. To be precise, there are 60 pairs of 1940s style shoes. The monument commemorates the Jewish people killed by Hungarian fascists. So as we passed by this important monument, we left some flowers alongside the shoes. As we were getting closer to the parliament, our eyes were getting wider. The exterior is so fascinating you could spend a whole day just looking at it. But the inside is even better, if you can believe that. But keep in mind that you can go inside the parliament only on a guided tour. Also, I recommend booking in advance to make sure you get the date and time that works best for you. Oh, and another thing, it's not allowed to take photographs or videos in the Great Dome Hall. After our visit to the parliament, it was time for lunch. Our plan was to go to the Great Market Hall, which is about half an hour walk from the parliament. Look around, get some Hungarian paprika souvenirs, and grab something to eat. The market is really big, but luckily it was not overcrowded. Locals come here in the early morning to get groceries, so around lunchtime it's mostly just tourists. We did manage to get some paprika, but we decided to find another place for lunch. Honestly, the prices were a bit high for what they were offering, so it felt kind of like a tourist trap. The next attraction on our bucket list was Andrassy Avenue, but this time we decided to take the metro. The line that would take us there was M1, which is the oldest metro line in Budapest and one of the oldest in Europe. You see, Budapest's metro system is the second oldest in Europe, right after London. Also, the M1 line, which has been operating since 1896, was declared World Heritage in 2002. So, although I do highly recommend walking as much as you can while in Budapest, the M1 metro line is definitely worth a visit. We got to Andrassy Avenue, and our first stop was the House of Terror, located only about 2 minutes walk from the metro station. The exhibition is related to the fascist and communist regimes in Hungary, and it is a memorial to the victims of these regimes. It's a must-visit for all history buffs. After that, we continued our walk along Andrassy Avenue, which is also one of the main shopping streets. It's filled with nice cafes and restaurants, luxury boutiques, and numerous attractions. There were 2 more things we wanted to do on our second day: grab some dinner and grab some drinks. So we took the metro line M1 one more time. We stumbled upon this little wonder called Street Food Karavan Budapest. Everything from the atmosphere to the quality of the food was perfect. And you absolutely have to try the traditional Hungarian goulash. After we ate, it was time to grab some drinks. By the way, do you know how they say cheers in Hungary? Egészségedre! It took me a whole day to learn how to pronounce this. We went to the ruin bars, located just 1 minute away. As it was already dark, and this is a popular place to go out, we barely managed to find a table. However, I strongly recommend visiting this place in the daytime because it's really something else. Our third day started with a visit to St. Stephen's Basilica. The basilica looks truly majestic. We've been told it's 96 meters tall. Ha! The same height as the parliament, I thought to myself. Little did I know, 96 is a symbolic number in Hungary. Apparently, the country has a height restriction, so no building can be higher than 96 meters. Also, the fact that the parliament and the basilica are the same height symbolizes that government and religion are equally important in Hungary. St. Stephen's Basilica also provides a great panoramic view of the city. Keep in mind that if you want to go inside or climb to the top, or even better, take the elevator to the top because there are 364 steps, you have to get a ticket. Only a few minutes of walk from the Basilica, there's this so-called fat policeman statue. They say if you rub his belly, it will bring you good luck. Our next stop was Elizabeth Square. It has a beautiful fountain, many coffee shops, and my personal favorite, the Budapest Ferris wheel. We enjoyed a walk around the park and took some great photos along the way. After spending some time in the park, we decided to walk around the center for a bit. No particular plan, no attractions from our bucket list, just walking and discovering new things. We also used this time to get some souvenirs for our friends and family. The center is full of souvenir shops, but I would advise you not to buy things in the first one you enter. They all sell pretty much the same things, but at different prices. So it's best to just check them out first and then decide where to buy. After lunch, we had one more stop before heading back, the Hungarian National Museum. Budapest has so many museums, but since we were only here for 3 days, we thought this one would be the best option. On the other hand, I don't think you can really go wrong here if you choose another museum. Also, I must say that I think we picked the best time to visit. We went in the off-season and it was perfect. The city was not overcrowded and the weather was still really nice. Not too warm to walk around and warm enough to sit outside. In general, spring and autumn are the best months to visit Hungary because it's still warm and there is not too many people. However, if you don't mind the crowds and want to experience the famous party boats, or if the main reason you want to visit Budapest are its thermal baths, summer would be a better option. As far as accommodation is concerned, we stayed in the 9th district. It's a nice neighborhood and I can highly recommend it. Great vibe, within walking distance from the city, and lots of nice restaurants. All in all, I can say that Budapest is a city that offers not only something, but many things for everyone. Also, it's very safe and we never felt uncomfortable no matter where we walked. When it comes to prices, I would not say Budapest is cheap, but it is affordable. Not even close to London or Scandinavia prices. And last but not least, a few tips for all of you who are planning your trip to Budapest. If you can, make your stay at least 5 days. I think that's the perfect amount of time to spend as a first-time tourist in this vibrant city. When exchanging money, don't do it at the first place you come across. Each place has a different exchange rate. Wear the comfiest shoes you own. You'll be walking a lot. While walking, look up every now and then. The architecture is breathtaking. Experience the city at night. Its nightlife is very diverse. And you have to try the goulash. We wrap up today's video. Can you think of anything else that might help travelers in Budapest? Feel free to add it in the comment section below. Until next time!